Hello, everyone. Thanks to the power of the internet, I get the power to talk with all of you. So, as the new episode and official releases have come out, Zorga got support for DivineZ. Yay! And this time, instead of just going off the pocket, I actually took time in a few days to play around with it and get actual thoughts instead of just word vomiting in front of a camera. So, obviously, we have this slurper grade 0. I love this design. I really do. It's better than the Fat Ghost of the original Zorga ride line. Does the same exact thing. It's a grade 0. Going to the grade 1, though, Abyss Fishing. This one's pretty interesting when it's rode upon by the specific grade 2 of this ride line. You Soul Blast 1, so same cost of Rancor Chain so far, except Rancor Chain's on place. You look at the top 7, you choose up to 1 unit and 1 normal order from among them. You keep the normal order and you discard the unit card, which is pretty good. So you can, like, early game drop an RPD, probably search grade 0, grade 1 order. I'm thinking Mythiarch, you're one of, or Wild Intelligence, honestly, for your targets for this. It's okay. I still think it's really good, but it requires you to play the grade 2, which we are going to go over right now. Who, don't forget, you gotta ride this on top of the grade 1 to get that search effect. When this is rode upon by Zorga with a divine skill specifically, which hinders this thing massively. You choose 1 normal order and drop, and you add it to hand. So you gotta play in order your grade 2 turn to make this thing useful, or you discard an order for ride. Still, I still think Husk is better because it's just on place, get it back. So, and it's generic too, as you've seen. It's been played everywhere because if it's not the Royal ride line or Zorga's original ride line, no one really plays their ride line. And also, design-wise, it's just kind of superior. This thing just looks like an electric eel flying in the sky. Husk looked really cool. But yeah, it still has the same rear guard effect. If you played in order this turn, you get 5k. Overall, I'm not too impressed about this. A lot of the new support requires Zorga with Divine, which I get. I get the limitation, but also it's the deck's greatest hindrance. Excuse me. Now for the boy himself, Zorga. And I've been thinking about this for a very long time. And first, let's go over what he does. Obviously, when you would play normal order, you can choose a normal order in your bind, with a in your drop. My bad, excuse me. And bind it. Has to be a different name, and you perform Alchemagic. Oh no, I was right the first time. When you choose a normal order, choose 1 normal order in your bind zone with a different name and perform Alchemagic. That's pretty cool because normally it was dropped to bring to bind. So you gotta keep a little bit of your resources, which is neat. Going on to its second one, Energy Blast 2, bind 1 normal order from drop, choose 2 cards in your drop, call them to rear guard. For each normal order in your bind zone with a different card name, they get power +5 until end of turn, but at the end of that turn, retire those units. I absolutely love this effect. It's fair, because you just call over your roaming prisons, probably with Philander or anything else, like your Shadow Dogs. And they get power. Obviously, if you're just doing this off the cuff, it's probably just 5. And Energy Blast 2 is not that bad. This one is the very hot topic, I think. It's Divine Skill. When it attacks a grade 3 or greater, Soul Blast 1, choose a column and stand it. But at the end of the turn, retire those. Like, I like that this leaves room for growth for Divine Skill of Zorga, but I just feel like what we've had revealed, a Divine Skill doesn't have to be active to be good, but this one, to me, doesn't feel like something that belongs on Zorga. And it just seems very underwhelming compared to everything else. Like, it's okay. You have rear guards that will most likely have crits, but the Divine Skill just seems underwhelming to me. At the end of the day, that's what it is. I like everything else on this card, but time to move on. Possibly, for a common, my favorite card art that goes hard for no reason. Play this card if you have a Vanguard with Zorga, once again with the Divine Skill, which I don't think this card needed at all. Choose one of your Vanguards, it gets the continuous ability. All your rearguards placed from drop this turn gets 5k. So, you call something from drop, whether it's Roaming Prison's effect, whether it's the Philander you're calling, or the Shadow Dog off of Zorga's effect, they just get 5k. Once again, this didn't have to be Divine locked, this could have just been Zorga locked. But still, for a common with art this hard, I think it's well worth playing. Going on is play this card if you have a Vanguard with Zorga, once again with the Divine Skill. Choose one of your Vanguards, it gets auto. When this attacks a Vanguard, retire a rearguard, choose one of your opponent's rearguard and retire it, and this unit gets plus 10k until end of battle. So this means your Vanguard is just getting 10k for a retire. It's okay, I guess. There's better retire orders, like you can, if you still want to have free, there's the bad order that we got from set 4, where your opponent chooses one of their rearguards, retire it, and you can call something from drop with the same grade. There's the better version that came out in set 1, where Counterblast, Soul Blast, you choose what to retire and call something. I guess the power boost is okay, but once again, this order probably, for at least okay, it didn't have to be Zorga locked or Zorga Divine Skill specifically locked. Because if you're thinking about it, if you swing with something first, right, you gotta retire it when you swing with your Vanguard second. And then you gotta retire it, which shuts down your Divine Skill because you're not standing the whole column. And then if you swing with both your rears, do that, you only have the one column, and if you've already used your Divine Skill, it's not worth it. And finally, the last card Zorga got is this guy, who everyone is hyping up, but I just think he's okay. It's Roaming Prison Light, but going over it, when this unit is placed on rearguard, cost Energy Blast 4 or bind 1 normal order from your drop zone. When this unit gets 5k for each normal unit with a different name in your bind zone. So if you use Zorga's effect to call units, you've used this, you should have 2, which means this gets 10k. Though this assumes this deck you've chose to go second to just pop off a little stronger. But Energy Blast 6, meaning you are left with no energy whatsoever. In your next turn, you're getting 3, meaning you could Zorga effect leaves you with 1, meaning if you somehow live to your next turn, so like 6th turn right now, you would get 4 back, meaning you could use this once, or Zorga. We would need an energy charger, but once again, I like that this is on place and not required to resurrect it. But what is its resurrection? From drop at the start of your battle phase, if you have Zorga with a divine skill, you performed Alchemagic, you call it, and if your opponent is grade 3 or greater, it goes critical. And this is why everyone's going like, ooh, it's better than Roaming Prison. But no, Roaming Prison at any point when you play an order can call itself from drop. Normally people do a 15k, but also if you have a big enough supporter, you could just give it a crit. Because your opponent could be at 8k, your opponent could be at 10, and there's a possibility you could hit. And even if you are just matching that 8k or 10k, crit 2, most people don't want to take that early on and will guard that anyway. And Roaming Prison is just Alchemagic, come back, it's a 15k attacker. No matter how you swing it, it's pretty good. This thing can get bigger. Assuming you're once again going second, you play the Energy Blast 6. Roughly this thing's going to be a 20-25k with a crit. Sure, whatever. And I took some extra time. Let's go over the deck I put together. Obviously, this is just like a beta design. I'm probably going to take out a few of those Fill the Skies, brand of corpses, which is the regards, place from drop this turn, get 5k. Obviously, we have 3 Persona Rides. We have all Roaming Prisons, Shadow Cloaks to get my drop filled up. We have Philanders, who look at top 10 to discard things. We got 3 of the Roaming Prison Dragon Light. Orders to take orders from drop back, retire, countercharger. Nectar, because I love Nectar, because it gives you power and another crit. Of course, the very powerful Mythiarch, 2 things of Yi Yi, because extra drives are really good, especially when you're keeping to the normal Zorga philosophy of just 3 attacks. Call grade 3s, so just force your Roaming Prison and your Persona Ride off. Alchemagic, get Dog, get your Persona Ride back. And then, of course, Fill the Skies and Blitz Orders that give you a little bit more defensive options. Obviously, go all ham in on crits and fronts. Because if you're going to swing 4 times, might as well play the fronts. 7 crits, because if you go triple drive or just more critical, but ideally you should have Roaming Prisons, both 15k, or Roaming Prison Light, to always force critical at your opponent, which makes up for the fact that this deck doesn't multi-attack. Or now it does. Oh my god, guys, I can play Inlet! But yeah, this was also before the release of that really good grade 1 order dropper, where you put it to drop and it gets the continuous effect. You can play it from drop and it bot decks itself, or, in Zorga's case, you just keep it in drop. It is, another version of your dog. Which, honestly, because Roaming Prison Light and Roaming Prison exist, I might just drop the dogs to play those for bigger support, so I can call them, activate their effect, and they still get, like, the 5k bonuses off of Zorga calling them. Though, that's my opinion. Obviously, I am going to playtest the deck more for when it comes out. Zorga is very toolboxy. There's a lot you can do with it. Overall, I think the support's pretty decent. I wish it had a better Divine skill. Outside of that, I'm still happy where Zorga is at this point. I might try to tech in 1 mask, but we'll have to see. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. But outside of that, if you made it this far, thank you for watching.